Hi guys, welcome to tonight's Cassiopeia Schooner Project Report. I couldn't help but just show you some of it's just inherently beautiful, a wooden boat. The little things about it. Again, I haven't showed you some of this stuff lately, but there's just so many cool little things. These little stitches and all of this kind of stuff that you can do if you're putting them together traditionally and stuff. Even just this 3-stranded rope and the varnish and things like that. There's so many beautiful things about these boats that touch you in a funny way. And I think that's part of why I believe that this type of vessel is the perfect kind of vessel to help touch people's hearts all around the world about so many other things, about the beauty of life, about the beauty of nature, about the beauty of our whole experience. Hi guys, philosophical as ever, love you to death, and man, check it out. I just got to show you this because I haven't seen it in a long time. See that? That is blue sky. Wow, there's even a moon over there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but man, we finally got some nice, clean, wonderful, soft weather with a soft breeze and all of that sort of thing. So I have literally spent the last 15 or 20 minutes while trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. Just really enjoying the magic of this moment and this lovely, lovely, lovely planet that we live on. It's just gorgeous. And so it made me start thinking when I started looking around at the good ship Cassiopeia, and it reminded me of one other aspect of our project, one other appeal of our project, and that is that there's tons of people that get together to simply celebrate the glory of these kinds of ships, of beautiful wooden boats all getting together to show themselves off, to have a regatta, do some racing, have some fun, and simply revel in the art of wooden boat building. And it is an art. And that is one of the parts of what I think our project kind of has going for it. I keep producing all of these different avenues of what we're up to deserves to have people join in and get us to where we're making this into a working project. And it always brings me back to some of my memories of my lovely Cassiopeia racing in some of the amazing regattas and events that she participated in. And it brings me back to the fact that one of my original ideas, before this became the important thing, after I had raced her in a few of those regattas, I kept thinking, wow, it is pretty obvious that we have a very special vessel. And so maybe what we ought to do is go build a fleet of them and take them to all the regattas. And that was a big part of how this all got started, because that planted the seed ages ago of building 5 more boats just like Cassiopeia so that we could have a fleet when we went to regattas. Now, even when I went to regattas, as I said, when we dressed ship, we did it with the message. And now, our main goal isn't to build a fleet for regattas. Our main goal is to build a fleet with the message. And I reckon we got one of the best messages to pass around that humanity has ever considered. Whoops. Okay, guys, Cassiopeia Schooner Project Report. I have been reminiscing about regattas and things like that, and wooden boat building and the art of wooden boat building, and how there is so much impetus for that aspect of our project that alone could almost be somewhere where we could come up with the funding to do this whole project. In fact, that's what is, what's mostly going on YouTube and stuff like that, with all these people who are, getting funding in order to rebuild this old ship or stuff like that. I was just talking with a guy who was involved with a charity group up in Maine that built the mast for the Mayflower, for the reconstruction of the Mayflower. Man, and you know what he was saying? He was going on and on about the Mayflower, about how it's got a 17-foot draft, and it has 25 feet of freeboard. Freeboard is from the waterline up. So the thing was just huge. He went to look at it while they were trying to refurbish it, and he said it was awe-inspiring. You can't imagine how incredibly big this thing was. And so there's projects like that going on all over the world that are in and of themselves just that. Just the project of rebuilding a beautiful and worthy old wooden boat can draw enough attention and enough romance to create what is necessary to make that happen. So that's one aspect of what we need to reach out to, or a avenue to reach out to, in order to create what we need to get this going. Because the other Cassiopeia, the one that we're going to build a fleet of, was an absolutely magic boat. The way it performed in regattas was beyond belief. Every single time after the first race, I was approached by many of the other skippers saying, "You were running your motor, man. I know you were running your motor. I saw your exhaust." We did not run our motor, and we just outran everything. She is an amazing wooden vessel in that regard. She handles perfectly. She going to windward, she points 2 or 3 degrees higher than all the rest of her kindred boats. She outruns them by half a knot going to windward. On running downwind, she does really good. You can wing out her fore and then backwind the staysail, or sheet it in really, really hard, and it'll feed the jib, and she just rockets along going dead downwind. And on a beam reach in Antigua, they have one race every year that is called the shotgun. And you simply reach out to a mark. They set up the course so it's a perfect beam reach out and a beam reach back. And you reach out and reach back and reach out and reach back. And it's beautiful because everybody's just passing everybody. And you're all going as fast as your boats can go, because the beam reach is the fastest point of sail for a boat. And so in that race, one of the years, there was about 15 or 18 boats in our start. We were all in different classes, but sometimes we start at the same start. But what is called line honors means that you have beaten every boat in your start, no matter what their handicap, no matter how big they were, no matter whatever. And Cassiopeia won line honors in the shotgun in Antigua, and she beat some boats that could not believe it. The skippers came by afterwards and says, "Man, I cannot believe you can get that kind of speed out of that boat." Of course, we did have really, really, really good crew who were tweaking the sails in and out, in and out, in and out the whole time, which is a big, big, big part of it. So one of the things about that initial dream that has morphed into what we are doing right now about regattas, about the romance of wooden boats. There's the Brest Festival in France with wooden boats. It's like unbelievable. Now, of course, it's probably not happening this year, but it will probably happen again, and undoubtedly will happen again. And the Antigua Classic Yacht Regatta and Foxy's Wooden Boat Regatta. And so one of my goals was that if we take our fleet to one of these regattas, and all along the way we have collected data and done videos and all of that sort of thing, and we are the organization that we are meant to be, then when we get to these regattas, we can make presentations about what our purpose is, about what we've seen, about how these people can divest in certain investments they're involved in and invest in other things that we have seen along the way. Because our audience, our captured audience, are multimillionaires. The people in these regattas are like, they're multimillionaires. Most of the people in any gathering of a wooden boat festival, the people who own the biggest and the baddest of the wooden boats they're in that category, that category. And so if we can make presentations to them about how they could change their stock portfolio, let's say, then I firmly believe that in and of itself could have a huge impact on certain industries, on the way that money makes things work. So that was one of the original dreams, is to take our fleets to regattas, blow them out of the water, have so heaping much fun with a bunch of, that was one of our other things. We had so much fun, and we were so caring and kind to everybody. We helped everybody out. We got so many kudos for, towing people in with our dinghies and doing all kinds of things because we were just paying attention. And so we did. We helped a lot of people do a lot of things. Cassiopeia had a full wood shop on board. So 2 or 3 of the boats over the years, more than that, there was probably a couple almost every regatta who came to the aft deck of Cassiopeia, and we'd get out the power saw, and the table saw and the joiners and all the other gear that we had, and rebuild some huge chunk of this boat for them so that they could race again the next day. So there's lots of things about our fleet that make them, or will make them, a huge hit in the world of traditional sailing. So I really think that that's an aspect that all you guys could help me with by sharing to any of the groups that that have to do with traditional sailing, all of that stuff, especially the global ones. Now I'm sharing to the Wooden Boat Forum and a few other groups like that that are involved, mostly U.S. oriented. And so any of you guys out there that are in the Med or whatever, start sharing some of our stuff with some of those traditional boat groups, because in and of itself, the merit of bringing back a lovely vessel such as this one is a worthy cause. And so we need to get that cause out there in that realm, and maybe that'll be the one that does it, at least for this particular vessel. Now, the reason I'm talking in this manner about manifesting how many different avenues of interest there are for this project. There's the traditional wooden boat building, there's the climate change, there's social change possibilities, there's youth sailing possibilities, there's physically challenged sailing capabilities. There's all sorts of angles of variables that we are going to be able to approach that have wherewithal and available funding in order to help us create what we need for this project to be a success. And so today's entire focus was that aspect of this project, because we are this close. We have the beautiful vessel. We have the dream. We have a following. We have all that we need to make this happen, except for that one little thing. And so I've been looking all around to see who we can collaborate with, who we can hook up with, who I can send information to try and sort some stuff out. And one of the guys that I found is this guy, Bill McKibben, who is a environmentalist forever and ever and ever, been writing about climate change since 1988. And he's got this great website called 350. And it says 350 is building a future that's just, prosperous, equitable, and safe from the effects of the climate crisis. Now there you go. See, he too is trying to do something that is a rounded approach to everything. It's not, just we've got to stop throwing plastic in the sea, or it's not just that dolphins are in trouble. It's we are going to build a future that is just, prosperous, equitable, and safe from the effects of climate change. That is amazing. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to help with that whole package, because as I believe that whole package is the best way of going about things. So there you go, guys. The Cassiopeia Schooner Project report. Jesse is in, weather. We've got a bizarre, super late storm ripping up the west coast of Florida, probably going to flood the warehouse where the transmission is. So Jesse's not going to be able to come this week with the transmission because he's right now busy getting everything up off the floor of that warehouse, because they're expecting a huge tidal surge there, unprecedented, that could well, not be a good thing for his entire warehouse full of lovely junk, including our transmission. So we'll expect that next week. Meanwhile, Cheryl and Fred have hunted up a starter spacer on eBay, so we're holding off on that until we can find out from the guy here whether he's actually got one, because if the guy here's got one, then I can install it really quickly and start running the motor to just kind of get it kind of warmed up, for when the transmission gets here, which I'm really excited about. I'm really hoping this guy's going to turn up with one. Okay, now then, man, I'm drinking coffee this time of day. Imagine that. All right, I'm going to take you guys outside. Because, the other thing I did, the old, I'm going to try again. I guess I'm going to have to dive into it. I had somebody else send me some information about some people who, for nearly $4,000, would help create some attorneys who would help create the nonprofit. But they had language in there like, we will guide you through the appendix of the 501c3. We will help you with which means that you do it and they just, send you the forms. So yeah, I Googled up Greenpeace's bylaws again and started kind of working with them to see if we can kind of plagiarize that. And so yeah, today was a big office day. So for me, I need to go outside. I'm going to take you guys outside as well, because as I say, tonight is one of those amazing evenings. And again, the variety of aspects, the variety of angles of what we are trying to. We're trying to promote peace. We're trying to promote environmental awareness. We're trying to rebuild a beautiful old traditional wooden boat. We're trying to promote the environment. And I believe that we're also trying to promote a feeling of compassion and love from our hearts and our spirits towards the rest of humanity and our lovely planet. And I do believe that a lot of the methodologies that are involved in that, the quote practices, they call yoga a practice. They call meditation a practice. And I suppose that's because you have to practice it to get it right. But some of those types of things are indeed important. And I do remember that one of the things that when I first started doing these presentations, which had to do with being on Cat's Meow in Coral Bay, I would pause for a while and just show the boat sailing. Well, we're not exactly sailing right now, but it doesn't matter too much, because the pause can still be really, really nice. So, you know, I would love it if, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'm going to actually shut up. Imagine that. And when I do, I would really like for you guys to visualize the type of energy that we are all getting together, that we're all believing in, you know, that when I have these people call me from Australia and Germany and Afghanistan, amazing, you know, get in touch with me and say, yes, we believe in what you are thinking, what you are putting out there. We feel your, quote, vibe. And that to me is the most important encouragement that I have been getting about all of this whole thing. And so relating to that, I think one of the best things to do is to maybe do what we're about to do, which is to take a moment and be quiet and think about the energy that your heart is putting out. Allow yourself to believe that your heart is putting out tons of energy and that the entire universe can feel that, especially anybody within 6 or 8 feet of you. Oops, almost lost you. I forgot to carry the phone around. Okay. But apparently the whole thing can actually physically notice what you're putting out there when you focus your attention on something. So let's just focus our attention on something. What a gift. Did you guys look? Yay for us. Hey, buddy. Come say hi. Sorry guys, I walked away from the phone again. I hope you saw the dolphins. How cool is that? At the minute I finished that spiel, we saw a dolphin. So lest we forget, the mission that we are on is seated in a very deep place in all of our hearts, in every single fiber of our being. We all know that humanity is on a path that needs to veer. And we know exactly what the power is that needs to be put into focus as the most important aspect of the human experience. And so in every different way that we can come up with to present that as the most important part of our experience, our gratitude for the beauty of this lovely paradise that we get to live on, our love for all of each other and for all of the creatures of this amazing place that we are allowed to inhabit. That aspect of what we are up to is not to be discounted. As much as I talk about this kind of aid and that kind of aid and cultural exchange and demilitarization and all of that sort of stuff, there is a bigger level of what we are working on that I firmly believe is going to be easily incorporated into what we're up to. And I believe that destiny has put a particular vessel in our hands in order to create that type of awareness of the deep-seated root of the human spirit that is capable of creating massive positive energy all around our planet and throughout the universe. And so I believe that this vessel has traditions. And every skipper worth his salt is superstitious about said traditions. And aboard the good ship Cassiopeia, in every spiritual realm across the universe, we believe in this tradition. And it goes like this. It goes, here's to the good ship Cassiopeia. Hip hip, hooray. And to her stalwart and heartfelt crew, hip hip, hooray. And to the great King Neptune, brother, we're coming on every level we can think of, from here, and even a little bit from here, because we do like to dance. There you go, brother. Hip hip, hooray. Army hearties. Can you be enlightened and still do tequila shots? I think so. I really, really do. Now, I've got some yogini friends that are a little bit suspect, but I personally believe it. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, guys. And I just want you to know that right now, while we're sitting here waiting for a transmission, while we're sitting here with the boatyard emptying out so that we're going to be able to get spring rates, now the main thing for us to focus on is figuring out all of the many avenues in which we can approach finding what we need, which is the funding, to get this vessel underway. And it's really not going to be that much at this point. You know, if we can reach the goal of our original crowdfunding, then the boat will be underway. And we will be doing things. And I am so excited about that moment. I can smell it coming. I can feel it coming. I know that we're going to pull this off because of all of the heartfelt outpouring that I am receiving from around the world. I mean, that's the coolest thing about what we got going on right now. I mean, everybody can poo-poo Facebook all they want, and I do want to shift to YouTube, but right now we are still a global community of people in this project. So thank all of you, and I love all of you. And I'm so excited about how close we are to having some absolutely incredible adventures and doing some absolutely amazing things on multitudes of levels. All right, love you. I'll check in again tomorrow. And I'll have a little bit more progress on some of the physical things. I'll show you some physical stuff tomorrow. Okay. Cheers.